Hello! Right, today we've got Honeymoon Suite and their new album Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down. Now, Honeymoon Suite have been around since the early 1980s, albeit with some lengthy gaps in between albums, but here we are in August 2025. This album came out just a few days ago at the end of July, and as Honeymoon Suite continue to do, this is another fine slab of melodic, hard-edged classic rock, and as I've mentioned, there have been some lengthy gaps in between Honeymoon Suite's activity. For example, after Clifton Hill in 2008, we had to wait until early last year, 2024, for an album to appear, and that was the excellent Alive, which I will put one of those card things up in the top right with a link to my review of that album. And now here we are, just under 18 months later, and they must have been working fast, because here we are with Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down, and another classic melodic rock album with Honeymoon Suite do what Honeymoon Suite always do: classy, hard-edged melodic rock, and we've got that all over it here. As I mentioned in my review of Alive, if you check out the card thing at the top that might have disappeared by now, I go back to the mid-1980s with Honeymoon Suite after I heard some of the stuff from the Big Prize on a local radio station, and I've enjoyed them ever since, because their brand of muscular melodics always sounds fresh and upbeat, as it still does here today. And Derry Green, fine guitarist, chops out all the chunky riffs and the flowing, concise, to-the-point solos. Johnny D's soaring vocals fit that very well. The band's on top form. Honeymoon Suite do not disappoint, and that's very much the case here on Wake Me Up Before the Sun Goes Down. What we got going on musically? Well, I Fly, which starts it off, prime example of typical Honeymoon Suite, an infectious and deceptively hard-hitting few minutes. Derry Green shows his chops with the solo, fine stuff. Way of the World goes into more heavier territory, a real light, chunky, muscular feel to it, and then every minute completes a fine trio of opening songs. We've got some ballads, as you'd expect, just a couple really. Way Too Fast and Live On, though they're both slick, they're both well done, and they do fit nicely interspaced in the running order. Honeymoon Suite can do like some bluesy, tingy, edged stuff as well, with the likes of Crazy Life and a really throbbing, pulsing, Unpredictable. And then we've got a real thumping rocker to close it out in Ever Leave You Lonely. Overall, 10 classy, punchy, concise, uplifting, feel-good rockers with the 80s tinge, and there's more hooks involved in the music than an angler's fully stocked fishing basket. And whilst I'm on dodgy fishing analogies, here's another one. They're all like earworms as well. I don't like that term to describe music, but they all are infectious, get right in your head and stay there. And well over 4 decades in, and Honeymoon Suite remain more than able to produce hardish melodic rock as good as everyone. It's the 1980s brought forward to 2025, and I think it's great. If you want to check it out, link to it in the description to Amazon. Usual formats available, physical and all that digital stuff as well. But it's great. Honeymoon Suite, just class stuff. So we'll leave it there. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel before you go, please do. And until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and take care.